Hi, everybody. I'm Regina Sellers, and I'm the creator of Pro Bow the Hand. Thank you so much for joining me today. This video will now be shot from over my shoulder to give you the best view possible. So let's begin. This video that I am presenting to you today is about how to read. It's the best word I know how to use. How to read a bow, how to look at it, and then know exactly what to do. A lady sent me this picture of this bow, and she has a pro bow, and she said, could you please help me? I can't figure out how to do this. Okay, so that is what this video is about. This is going to try to help you. The minute you see any bow, you should automatically know how to do this hopefully after you watch this video and I make this explanation. Okay, so what am I looking for when I'm looking at this picture? Well, the first thing that I see is that it's burlap. So, of course, I'm going to be using burlap ribbon to make the bow. Okay. The next thing that I'm noticing is that, I'm noticing two tails just automatically. It has two tails coming down. Okay. And the one set of tails is shorter than the other. I'm going to show you two different ways because I automatically know this is a lot of loops in a burlap bow, and I always do my tails separately. Okay, that's just how I do it. But I'm going to show you both ways. You can either attach your ribbon to your bow. I'm going to use this in a wreath, which I'm going to show you, and I make my tail separate from my bow. It just makes the stack shorter. Okay, so that's going to be up to you. I'm going to show you both ways. The next thing that I'm noticing, look at this cute little kick out. See this little thing right here? So this is a little kick out from the front. I can see this directly coming out from the front, from where she's tied off the center. I can see that. So that is telling me that I'm going to start with a little bitty tail. That's how we're going to start, with a little bitty tail. The next thing that I'm noticing is that it's because she's tied it off in the center. And these two loops right here, as you can see, I'm going to hold it really close to the camera, and I numbered them 1 and 1. I'm going to have no center finger. Okay, because there is no center loop. So I'm not going to use the center finger. And you see these two loops? They're exactly the same size. So that's telling me I'm going to make one loop on finger 1, right and left. Okay. The next thing that I'm noticing, I'm going to go to my next level. Y'all, all bows, no matter I don't care what bow maker you use, whether you make them by hand, whatever you do, every bow has levels. This is the first level. Loop, loop, right and left. One loop right, one loop left. If you're left-handed, then you would do one loop left and then one loop right. No difference. Okay, you just change the direction you start with. Okay, then the next thing, I'm looking at this very carefully, and I see two loops because I've gone to my next level. First level is no center loop. The next level, which I numbered 1, because I'm going to use fingers 1. That's the next level. Then my next level, because you see how you can see the difference here in the size of the loops. And that looks like about a 1/2 inch. That looks absolutely correct to me. And I can see two loops that are just about the same size, right and left. Here's the 2 on the right. Here's the 2 on the left. That's telling me I'm going to go over finger 2 twice. Okay? Because I want those two loops to be the same size, right and left. So there they are. The next thing I'm looking for, because now I'm going to my next level. You see this loop that's dropping out right here from behind this loop here? This is going to be my next level. Okay, There's one loop there. I'm assuming this could have been a one of two ways. And I'm going to tell you why I think and how closely I looked at this picture. I am just seeing one loop dropping down. So this bow could have been made 1, 2 loops, and then 1 loop here. She could have done that. Okay. The reason why I'm thinking that there is just another loop this size that just didn't get caught in the picture and it's somewhere in behind this area because of the angle of the picture. The reason why I'm thinking that this is 2 loops, on the next level, because you see here, I mean, you can clearly see. So there's 1, then these 2, here's the next level. You see this little bitty loop sticking out right there? See that little bitty piece? See where I wrote the 3? I'm thinking that is the next. That is another loop. And because this is burlap and you can see through it. And this is real shadowed right here. And then this little part isn't. So that's where that 3rd loop is. Okay, see how closely I'm looking. So, that's how we're going to do this. We're going to have finger 1, 1 loop, right and left. Fingers 2, 1, 2 loops, 1, 2, 1, 2, right and left. Finger 3, 2 loops. There's 1, and then here you can see 2 on this side. Another thing that I've noticed, we have this really cute little kick out right here, but look what I'm also noticing, and I marked it out with pencils so that you can catch it. She really fancied this side up, and I really love this. Okay, I don't always do asymmetrical. Okay, so you have this little kick out right here, this cute little short little piece that's dovetailed. Well, then she added on this side 2 of them. Here's 1. You see how I marked it out with pencil so you can see it. There's 1, and here's the other one. She just pulled it up to the top. There's another one. Now, how did I know where to stick? This is just a little piece, and I'm going to cut it to start, and I have it ready to add to my bow. And how do I know where to put it? How do I know where to add this? I think I can clearly see that this little piece right here, this loop, number 2, on that I'm going to do on the 2nd finger. That little piece right here is just beneath this loop. So I know that I'm going to put this little added piece between fingers 2 and fingers 3. And then to me, it clearly looks like up here with this little piece that is coming out directly behind this loop that was done on finger 2 also. So that's telling me where to add that little piece. Okay? I hope that helps. I hope that helps you in the future. Any bow that you look at, just count your loops. You can clearly see because of the levels. All bows have levels. No center loop. This is my first level. Okay, I'm going to use finger 1. This is my next level because you can see how now on the next level, you normally advance about a 1/2 inch. That looks like a nice 1/2 inch on both sides to me. This is my next level. And then here is, so that's 2 loops. And then here is the next level there. So we're going to use, let's look at our pro bow now. So we are going to use, to start, I'm going to make this on row D because I want to make a really nice size bow so that you can clearly see all of these levels and how I open it. I think that her bow was probably a little smaller, but I'm going to make it this way. It's going to be, this bow will fit a really nice size wreath. Okay, so here we go. This is your bow recipe now. No center finger. See here? No center finger, no loop. So we're not going to use a center finger. We're going to use finger 1, right and left, 1 loop. Finger 2, right and left. We're going to do 2 loops. Fingers 3, right and left, 2 loops. And then we're going to add that little piece in. So that's our recipe. I hope that made total sense to you. And you see, I numbered everything so that you could clearly see it and what I looked for whenever I decided how to make this bow. So I hope that really helps you. So now let's make our bow. Okay. Okay. Remember when I said the little piece? The little piece here, the little kick out that she's added into the bow, I've cut it and I have it ready. Okay. And now how did I decide how long I wanted this to be? Okay. So I know that this is I'm going to drop this into my bow on after finger 2. So I just took my ribbon and I sat it here. Here's finger 2. This is going to drop in behind finger 2. And look, I cut it a little longer. I want it to peek out behind that loop. So that's how I did it. Okay, so that's how I knew. You could cut it a little longer because you certainly can. And it's probably better just to cut it a little longer because you certainly can trim it back. Okay, but I have my little piece ready. Okay. So here we go. Let's get started. What did I do with my scissors? I thought they were right here. 1 second. I just couldn't reach them. So we're going to start with our little, that pretty little piece that she has coming out from the front, and it's a dovetail. So I'm going to go ahead and dovetail it. It looked like I said, it's probably just better just to leave it a little longer than you might want, because you could always trim it back. But I'm going to leave it about this long. What you want to do is you want to gather. You want to make sure you gather your ribbon. Don't fold it over. If you fold over, you're going to have a flat bow. Okay? You see how flat that looks? Very flat. It's flat. If you gather your ribbon, you always want to make nice little gathers, because you see how I've gathered it, and look at this. You can see how that just pops up. That is going to make your bow from the dead center. This is like fluffing your bow already. From your dead center, that is going to make you have a nice loop that's just going to sit up instead of it being flat and you trying to force it to sit up and be nice and full. Okay. So anyway, that's how we're going to begin. I'm going to use 26 gauge wire. Come on, Regina. 1, 2. I always go around twice, y'all. That's all that's needed ever. So we're going to take the face of our ribbon. This is the face of our ribbon. It's going to be very hard to tell because it looks the same on both sides. But anyway, I know that this is the face of the ribbon, and I want to turn it and put it to the bow maker. This is the top of our bow. This is the bottom of our bow. And we want the face of the ribbon facing forward. Okay? And put it through the slot, and then go round and round and round. And this is attaching your ribbon to the bow maker and getting that little piece of wire out of the way for now. Now we're just going to go around the nail just once. That's all that's necessary. And stick your other little piece under the board. Get it out of your way. You want everything out of your way. Okay, so that's how we begin, and there's our little tail. Okay, now I'm gonna start. See how I have that little poof. That little poof is gonna go up, and then the edge of my ribbon is up and down. That's exactly what you want. Okay, I'm gonna hold my thumb here. I always show in my videos smooth. I always use my ribbon glides on these 3 fingers, and I see how I just, every time, I never do it any different way. I always just set my ribbon, like my hand like this, and I just use the tip of my finger. You see how I'm not taking my hands and going all over, and I'm not doing all of this stuff. That's totally unnecessary. All you have to do, like this, smooth, easy glide, and just drop it over. Then you see the front of my hand, it doesn't even go. It just, I'm working off the tip of my finger. Okay? It's just that simple. That's simple and easy. Okay? I'm going to move this forward and get this out of my way for now. Okay? I'm going to put my finger here. I bring the edge of my ribbon. I want to see the edge of my ribbon at all times when I'm pinching and twisting, because I want to make sure, I want to look, I want to see my pretty little pinch, and I'm just going to sit this. And in the video, I say bottoms up. I'm bringing the bottom edge of my ribbon up. Pinch. There's your twist, directly on top of the previous. That is what is so incredibly hard about bow making in your own hands, because it's all about keeping the stack of your bow straight. Okay? And I'm sure you've tried to make, and if you're trying to make bows in your hands and making great big bows, you know how it starts slipping around in your hand. And then when you open your bow, you have great big long loops on one side and shorter on the other side. That's why. It's because it's incredibly hard to keep this much ribbon just totally straight up and down. And that's what you absolutely have to have, is a totally straight stack to your bow, so that when you open it, all the loops are where they belong. Okay? So now, look what I'm going to do. Smooth, easy glide. Smooth, easy glide. Drop it over. Now, that's just it. That's as hard as it gets. Okay? All we're doing, we're letting the bow maker hold all of our work for us. You have no cramped hands. Nothing hurts. No spools rolling all over the floor, because it's over here on the spool holder. And that's as hard as it gets. All this is about is knowing how and when to just wrap ribbon around your dowels. And it's going to give you a perfect bow every time. Okay? So let's come back and finish our loop. See how I'm doing it sideways. I'm making a pretty gather. You want a pretty little gather? Sit it here, bottoms up. See there? And that's it. Now, what I want to do at this point is I want to add my helping hand wire. Y'all, please fall in love with your helping hand wire. It's just another piece of wire. I'm a florist. I went to florist school years and years ago. And to pass the florist test, the only state in the union you had to pass the test, and we had to make hand-tied bows, of course. You had to wire every loop in place. That was just how they used to do it in the olden days. I thought it was totally overkill, but now in sections of your bow, it just helps tremendously to use that helping hand wire. And see how I just dropped it in? Let me show you that again. Let me let that go. See how I'm going to take my wire? I'm just going to take my piece of wire and drop it in. I always come out on the right side. Why? Why do I always do that? Because on the left side, that's where my first little piece of wire is. My first little piece of wire is right there. And I don't want to cross it. So I'm always just going to come out on the right side. And that's all there is to that. Pull it to you and tie this off. And just go around once. You do not want to start just bulking up the stack of your bow. This is the stack of the bow. And you'll see as we go along, this is going to just get bigger and bigger because we are using burlap. This is extremely thick, and you'll see that in a minute. So here we go. Super easy. See how I did that? Made sure that's kind of kicked forward. That's going to just open so beautifully from the center. Finger here, smooth, easy glide, drop it over. Finger here, pinch, pretty little pinch. There you go. Hold your thumb, See how I'm fluffing? That is the start of the fluff from the dead center of your bow already. Smooth, easy glide. Drop it over. Let the bow maker measure your loops. They're going to be perfect. They're going to be perfect on each side. Okay, come back to the center. Here is your pinch. And there is your twist. Okay, and what am I going to do? I'm going to wire this off right here. Tightly. And see if I want to make any adjustments. I can. I didn't kind of like how that was turning right there. I'm going to adjust that right now. And that's fine. See how that's a little folded over there? I can adjust that right now. See how I'm fluffing my bow? I can fluff my bow. I love making my bows sideways like this because I can see every step. I know exactly what's going on in any position within my bow. And that's going to make all the difference in the world, how my bow is going to fluff out and how it'll look in the end. Okay? Now, I don't want to go over, I need finger 2, I need 2 loops. I don't want to go over those 2 fingers again. This is very heavy ribbon. If I was using 1-inch ribbon, I could do this. I mean, I could, you can clearly see I can do it. I can go over it again, but I've had a lot of people send me pictures and they've told me that they really don't care to do that. So this is, why I'm doing this. I'm going to show you this. You see how make sure this is really tight. Nothing is going to move on you. Just take your loop off of your finger, move it forward, and now it's fresh. It's like you never used it. And let's just go over that again. Smooth, easy glide. See how, look at this. You see how from this side, you can see how I know that my pinch and twist is just perfect because I can see it. See how I can see it? The edge of my ribbon is up, here's down, and here's my pretty little gather. I know from the dead center of my bow, this is going to open beautifully. Okay? Because I can see everything. So here we go. Here's the pinch. There's the twist exactly on top of the pinch and twist before it. Up, down. There's my pretty little pinch. Smooth, easy glide. Drop it over. Here to my finger. Here's my pretty little gather. There's my pinch and my twist. See how I can see? I can see what I'm doing. I can see everything that I'm doing. And I can make sure that I made a pretty little gather. You check on this side. How is this looking? It's just perfect. See how I can make an adjustment if I need to? This is ensuring that my bow is beautiful from the dead center and it's just going to open beautifully. Okay? I'm going real slow here. I'm showing you just every step, every thought that I have, how I think this through. Okay? And I did, okay, you see this? See how pretty that looks? It's perfect. And this is going to just open beautifully from the center. Okay? Now, here's my little piece that I want to add. I'm going to make a pretty little pinch and twist on this. And now all I have to do is, I want both of my little tails going this way. I want both of them going this way. So I'm just going to put this here. Just set it there. Okay. And take my wire. Tie it in. See how I'm just tying in this extra little piece? Okay. Look at that. I'm just going to push it forward. And now I'm going to push this forward also. Yeah, I'm doing this different. Some of y'all might have watched me yesterday. I did a live yesterday, and I really thought about this. And because of that center, yesterday I made this go this way, but I wanted, in the end, I wanted it to go this way. And I had to really play with it and kind of struggle to get that piece of, to get this. Once I pulled this little piece over to the side, I had to kind of struggle and mash this little piece down. And I really thought about it. And I said, well, let me just go ahead and move this to the side already. And so I'm doing this a little bit different for all those who watched me yesterday. Okay. So I'm just going to sit this here. See, there's just different ways of doing it. And you know what? I'm going to tie that. I'm going to just go around one more time. That's going to help hold that sideways. Okay, there, and it's sideways. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to advance on to finger 3. No hurting hands. Smooth, easy glide. Drop it over. Look from this side. Pretty pinch. Control that pinch. This is going to give you a beautiful bow. Put your thumb here. Hold it in place. Drop it over. Come back. Pretty pinch. Pretty little pinch. Set it right in place. You see how I've turned it? Let's make sure that's turning well before I wire it off. Y'all fall in love with the helping hand wire. It is just, like I said, this was extremely natural to me because I went to florist school so many years ago and we had to wire off every loop. Okay, I really thought it was overkill, but now you're wiring them off at every level, but you're wiring off 2 at a time. So, and that's, especially on something really heavy like this, I think you're really going to enjoy it. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Get this out of the way. Here's our second loop. See how that all just stays in place? Everything just stays in place. It's not going to move on you. Okay. Oh, there's another thing. A lady sent me a picture the other day, last week, and she was telling me that all of this was wanting to just pop it, just move up on her, and she couldn't control it. That's because she's pulling too hard. Y'all, just let you pull it hard enough. She was like, well, I don't know how hard to pull. Just let it go around the dowel and just let it just lay there. Okay. I'm really not pulling. I just laid it around. That's all. I'm not really pulling at all. It's just enough. I just have enough tension to just let that lay smoothly. That's it. That's all. That's as tight as you need to pull. Okay. And you see how I've done it. Y'all, it's just a couple little hand movements. It's just a little technique. There it is. There's your pinch and your twist. Just get this around the dowel. That's our second loops on row 3. On finger 3, I mean. Okay. Come back. There's your pinch and your twist. Boom. Y'all, how incredibly easy is that? Wire it off. Because I'm finishing, I'm going to just go around twice. Okay, that's enough. Now, what are we going to do about the tail? Like I said, you see how deep this is? This is deep. But that's normal. I mean, there's no way of getting around this. It doesn't matter. I had a lady tell me, well, what can I do to make the stack smaller? You can't. That's your ribbon. Okay, you're making this many loops. You're using really heavy ribbon. And this is why this is such a wonderful tool, because you can imagine what that was like if you would be holding all of this in your hand. is what you would have to be doing. And look how totally controlled my stack is. You see how, and every pinch and twist is directly on top of the previous one. Because you see this, there's part of the dowel, and there's the other part of the dowel. And that is the total trick. You've got to keep the stack of the bow straight. Okay? That's why bow making in your own hands is so hard. Okay. That's a lot of stack to this bow. Like I said, I personally would stop right here. I would cut this off, and then I would add my tails to my wreath separately. I just think it's easier. Okay? But that's just me. If you don't want to do that, and you want your tails connected to your bow, so this is what we're going to do. Super easy. Let's see. She had 2 rows of tails, and let's see, one was longer than the other. Let's see, but I'm looking at my picture. I'm gonna make that about that long. Well, wait, let's see. 2, this was longer. Okay, I'm gonna make that about that long. Okay, so I'm going to see how I'm just taking this little, I just made a circle. I pinched, and I'm just gonna tie it into the bottom of my bow. So that's one circle. See how I just tied it in? Tied it in. And then now here's my second. Here is my second grouping of tails. Oh, I have a splice in my ribbon. Oh, I hate that when that happens. But it's okay. It's going to be in the tail. It won't show. Now, if I was making this to sell, this is for a demonstration. If I was making this to sell, I would have stopped and I would cut that out. I would never have left that. I would never sell that to a person with a splice in it. Okay. So I would have stopped, cut it, and then gone on. Okay. So that's it. But you can now clearly see, now let's cut this off because we're done. Make sure you don't cut your wire. I've done that before in the middle of a live. Oh, look, I have a pin sticking to that. Okay. And there we go. So that's my 2 sets of tails tied to the bottom of my bow. Look how much that has extended my stack. Okay, that might be your choice. I don't particularly, I want my stack a little shorter than that. And so that's why I do my tails separately. But that's a choice. That's a designer choice. You're the designer. That's your choice to make. Okay, I'm going to pull this down. I'm going to fold this over. And now I can dovetail. That's my first little set of tails, and here's my second set. Pull it down. Oh, I think I was off the camera. So I pulled this down all the way. Change hands. Let me move this up so you can see. See how I've just pulled this down? Dead center. I want you to see that. Dead center. I'm pinching. I'm watching on the camera. Okay. I'm going to pinch it. I'm going to fold it over. From the fold, go out to the edge, and there's your dovetail. Okay. That's my 2 sets. That is my 2 sets of tails. Look at the picture. Now you look at the picture. You see how she had her 2 sets of tails? One is shorter than the second set. There you go. That's how you achieve that look. Okay? Now, let's finish up. Y'all, this is my helping hand wire. I just move it over to the side. People ask me all the time, what do you do with it? Nothing. I just pull it to the side. It's okay. I never cut it off. There's no reason to cut it off. Okay, I want that extension of that wire. I never want that to come undone. So I personally don't cut it off. So now I'm going to come and get my wire from the center. Make sure that you don't jerk it up. It'll all get knotted, so you just kind of have to wiggle it. And then take it out the slot, pull it down. Before I complete my bow, see how I'm going to hold my finger here? And I'm pushing. I am really pushing hard. And now I'm pushing hard this way. I just want to see, can I tighten this up at all? Can I tighten up my stack? Didn't move at all. Okay. But I pushed it in. I tried. Didn't move. That's okay. That's what we have now. So now let's get our second wire off the nail. You see why you only need to do that once? I'm going to pull this down and pull this up. It moved just a hair. Just a hair. And now ring it around 2 or 3 times, and that is it. That's all there is. And our bow is made. How about that? Nothing to it, guys. So lift off. And there's your perfectly made bow. Okay? All the loops perfectly measured. Okay? Let's go to the fluff box. Fluff box. Oh my. Y'all, you want a fluff box. Why? Why do you want a fluff box? Because now I can use both hands to fluff my bow. If I did not have my fluff box and something to anchor my bow down to, if I didn't have that, I would be holding this with this hand, and now I would be trying to shape this bow with just one hand. Terrible. You can totally destroy a bow. Or either you would be holding it like this and you would just be yanking on it and pulling things this way and that way. You can destroy a bow doing that. Okay? Please, 2 things. Fall in love with the fluff box, besides falling in love with the Pro Bow. Fall in love with that helping hand wire and your fluff box. And you're going to see. And look, I only had one wire long enough to reach. That's okay. That's all you need. Look how it just, see how it just sat up? It just completely sat up, and now it's ready for me to fluff. Okay? I'm going to pull my tails down. First thing I'm going to do, pull my tails down. Tails down, tails down. That's where we want them. And in the picture, y'all, I'm trying to recreate this exactly like in the picture. I want you, because this is, I wanted you to see that anything you might see in a magazine, that you can now recreate yourself. Okay? See my pretty tails coming down? Just like in the picture. Exactly like in the picture. How's that? Okay, now let's sit our bow up. The first thing we want to do, see our little foo-foo, our little tail. I'm going to pull it over. I am going to, let's see, that was the wrong side of the ribbon. Turn it over and see, look at that. Look how pretty that just, see how it just fanned out? See that pretty little gather there? That's because I gathered and I didn't fold. That makes all the difference. So see how I can just pull that over and make that behave. And it's just behaving exactly like I wanted to because I gathered. Okay, so that's what you want to do. Okay, finger 1. Here's our 2 loops. Here they are. Here's our two pretty little loops. 1 on each side. That's it. Y'all, one of the things that I am terrible about is fluffing. I was like, and a lady told me yesterday, she goes, don't worry, everybody's like that. She goes, everybody who makes bows, you just fluff, and I'm just terrible. I just think, oh, if I just move it just a little bit more, it'll be just a little bit prettier. So anyway, I'm going to try to just get on with it. Okay. See, now these are the 2 these are the 2 loops that were on finger 2. You see how I've separated them? See how I'm working with 2 hands? I can easily move this around, separate them, and look at this. Look how beautifully they open. Look at the volume on that loop. See the volume on my loop? The reason why I can get volume on my loop is because I pinched from the beginning. I did not. I gathered. I just didn't fold over. Okay? So now, here is our 2 loops. There you go. Perfect. How easy. Incredibly easy. Here's our 2 little pieces. Let's see, where did she put them? She had one kind of coming out to the top. She has one kind of sitting right behind this top loop, and another one sitting kind of right behind this loop here. And so you see how I can just now, they are tied into my bow, and there's my 2 little fancies. There's my 2 little extras that we added into the bow. And then now, let's see, let's just open this. Let's pull this loop here. And let's see, in the picture, because I'm going to show you sideways, I'm going to show you how I'm trying to get it exactly as close to the picture as I possibly can. Now, this one looks a little different because I did make this bow a lot bigger than she did, because I wanted you to clearly be able to see all of the loops. Okay? And then look at me fluffing. Just keep fluffing, Regina. Just stop. Okay, stop now. Okay. So, there you go. That's one side. That's one side, and it's done. And look at the volume that you have on your loops. Look at your big fluffy bow that you're going to have. And so, there's one side. It's going to kind of lean over once we're done. I'm going to shorten this one just a tad. Just a tad. Because in the picture, it didn't stick way, way out. Because now I'm going to show you the picture. And this one, this loop kind of came out underneath there. I'm trying to get it as close to looking like in the picture as she did. So there's half. And there's the picture. Okay? You see it? Here is one. Wait, I'm not catching it. Let's see. Let me see how I can do this so you can see. So there's one. Here's one. Here's 2 loops. There's 2 loops. Here's your extra little piece. See it there and there. I put one here and kind of coming up. And then here's 3, there's 3, and then here's 3 kind of peeking out back there. And so I think we accomplished it. Okay, so let me fluff the other side real quick, and we are done. I'm just going to sit this up in place. Y'all see how, look, see what I just did there? Because my bow wants to move around on me. See what I took the back of my hand? I took the back of my hand and I put it on that loop and I held it in place, and now I can pull. I can pull and twist. Y'all be the master of your ribbon. Make it go where you want it to go. Make it do what you want it to do. But because I'm using this fluff box, I can do all of that. If it wasn't for the fluff box, I'd be in big trouble. I want these to get to be in, let's see, let's look at it from this way, because I want my loops to be pretty much in the same position, so I need to pull this one down a bit. There and there. Here are these 2. Here's 1. So here's 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3 with the 2 extra little pieces. Okay, And y'all know I guarantee I'm going to play with this some more. Okay, so that's that. So now the only thing that's left to do is, because, let's slip it off the fluff box. So there's our bow. Okay, and the only thing that we have left to do is go around, take our little piece of ribbon. I'm going to take a little piece of ribbon because she finished it off that way. And I'm just going to cut me a piece. I'm going to have to get my hot glue gun. But all I'm going to do, because I looked at it really close, and I can't see any edges. I don't see any edges, so she didn't fold it over anything. I don't see any edges, so I'm going to just do it like this. Okay, I'm going to kind of hide my little edges. And I'm going to kind of squinch it up just a little bit because I don't want it too thick. Okay, and all you're going to do now is just sit this in your center and pull it around, and you're going to hot glue it from the back. And you see, this is another thing. If I did not have these tails right here, but it might be the look that you want. It's going to be totally up to you. If I did not have these tails tied into the bow, I wouldn't have to go around the tails too. But like I said, that is going to be entirely up to you, the look that you want, okay? I'm just having to work it a little bit more, okay, because I'm having to go around my tails. And so that's what you'll do, and you're going to hot glue this from the back. And then that's going to be it. And there's your bow. And I think we got it copied just perfectly. Okay? So, and like I said, I did make the bow bigger, a lot bigger than what she has in the picture. But I wanted you to clearly be able to see each step that I did and how I moved my loops around and how I put them. I would have made this on a smaller row. Okay, so I'm going to finish this now. I'm going to play with getting this looking real pretty and hot gluing it and getting it tight in the back. And then I'll post the final picture, because I know y'all don't want to just sit here and watch me play with hot glue and do that. So anyway, that's it. I hope this was instructional and that it helped you and you understand how now to read a bow, and any bow that you see, you'll be able to copy. Okay? Thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.